What up, Q?
Oh, I said, hey.
Um, hey, folks, got a show today. I had the privilege to go to the city council meeting, and I went to the city council meeting, and the reason why I went to the city council meeting is that I want to have a water tap put into. I want to tap into the city sewage and the city water, and so I got on the agenda and speak, and I can tell you that Ramonda Walker, the city councilwoman for Ward 4, she called me up Sunday before the meeting and wanted to inquire what it was about. She was concerned, and I can say that she was very attentive. She was very professional. She was very polite, and it was unexpected. I didn't expect her to call. Y'all hear Two Bell ain't even give me the chance to even start talking yet and everything. And then Two Bell said, bro, you just said you gonna run against her. You know what? She was so nice. I changed my mind. I can change my mind. Two Bell, leave me alone. You know what Two Bell just said? How is that he always talking to me, but I don't never see him? It's just one of them things, one of those brothers' connection. But anyway, she was very nice, very professional. And I said last week that I wasn't gonna run because uh, uh, I would hope a young person do that. I don't want to come across as being, I don't really have the energy to take the time out to show you guys a program that'll work. You know that we have a lot of young peoples that are being neglected, that are not brought to the table for any reason other than for, I just said, for penal labor, for to not educate them. We are the most, in my opinion, we are so gullible that uh, we don't really focus on things that we need to be focused on. But I want to get back talking about the city council meeting. I went in there, and I can tell you that I observed Mayor Smith. He looked presidential. He looked nice. He was, I've been to a lot of Percy Bland meetings, and I can tell you that Percy was very, always, he never sat down and he never shut up. His problem is that he micromanaged every department head, and I gotta take my hat off to Jimmy Smith. He did not micromanage any of his department heads. He let them speak. He let them, when Public Works talked, the director of Public Works spoke. When Community Development Director spoke, he spoke. When the personnel director, I think Brandon Latimer, when she spoke, Jimmy did not interject at all. He didn't say anything. And when it was time for him to give his report, he did so very professionally. I can say Jimmy did a good job. And I ain't going to even say I'm impressed because he come up from my generation and I seen him do a thing. And When you start talking about Jimmy running for mayor or running for re-election, and you're talking about Percy Bland coming back, why? Why do we need that rogue? Why do we need that atrocious Negro to come back and run anything? We fired his ass. Have any of you ever been fired from a job and your employer took you back? If your employer fired you, they fired you because you were not doing your job, or either you was doing something that you should not have been doing. And so another thing I like is that uh, uh, one of the things that my sister said, y'all give him a chance. And I've said this before. Uh, he, Jimmy, this is his first term. He hadn't even been there 4 years yet. So, hey, if he want another chance at it, I think that we need I think younger people should run for public office. I think younger people should be a part of the process. And until you young folks start stepping up and speaking up and saying and doing what you need to do, then you're going to continue to be left out from the bargaining table. I want to continue on to. I noticed growth and development in the city council people. I noticed Joe Norwood Jr. doing an excellent job. I listened at him speak. He spoke very clearly, very professionally, and he know his job. I have seen Dwayne Davis grow. He knew his job and he did his job. I saw Ramonda Walker. She did an excellent job. I saw Tybell Lindsay. Tybell Lindsay talked about crack sidewalks and talked about picking up paper. Now, she's being paid too much. Now, Ty, I know you ain't talking about running for mayor. No, no, no. You're not mayor's material. I think you should go home and just be a housewife. You're not government material at all. I didn't see her say anything. One of the things about George Thomas is just too old to be there, but he made some very, very good and very valid points. I cannot say anything that he did was wrong, except one thing. When it was time for the public comments, time for me to speak, Councilman Norwood was called my name, and George Thomas started asking questions, and they went on for another 15 minutes talking. Now, I gotta say this. Now, Dwayne Davis, you know I like you. He said he asked the public work director, could they uh, build a sidewalk? Could they put it in the budget? Could they build a sidewalk from North Hill Street to 33rd Street? Now, I got a problem with that. Got a real damn problem with that. Your district does not stop at 33rd Street. It goes on to 14th Street. How about sidewalk all the areas of Meridian? I think it's something that should be done. It's got to be, it got to come a time when y'all gonna have to start doing something for all the citizens in the city of Meridian instead of doing for selected few. Dwayne, now you're coming across as being somewhat elitist. Now, you know I want you to be a mayor. You know I like to have a lot of respect for you. Don't do that, Dwayne. I cringe when you said that. Why are you stopping at 33rd? Because there's 34th is where you're going up to you go on and you go straight ahead and you make a left and you at the neighborhood market at Walmart. No, that's 30. I think if I'm not mistaken, that's 34th or 32nd. That's 34th. And so you're going to stop before you get there. No, that's not right, because the people, even if the people are outside of your district, and I don't think they are, I think you still should go on. And then what's wrong with having a sidewalk by East End Graveyard? What's wrong with having a sidewalk in front of the old Twist Bar, in front of Walter Camper's home, or the graveyard, and on down until you get to 14th Street? Why is it that we got to have sidewalks? You charge everybody taxes. Now, I got to tell you this. When you go into that city court, it's mostly black people in there. You get quite a bit of money from poor people that don't have anything. So why is it that the poor peoples are being left out, Dwayne? I got to ask you that. So that was a bad thing that you did then, and I didn't like that at all. I didn't like the fact that you guys was out of order. In my opinion, you were out of order when you started running your damn mouth and started talking about shit that was not on the agenda. And then after you asked, could you get the sidewalk, which gonna cost Toolbelt about $2 million? Not cost Toolbelt, but Toolbelt. It would cost the city of Meridian about $2 million to make a partial sidewalk. Well, add another. Now, I gotta say this, that's a lot of money, but it's worth it. I'm looking at what Jimmy Smith is doing in Meridian. He's beautifying Meridian. He's doing right by the streets. I gotta say that. And he was a mayor. He went there. He went there. He was attentive, and he watched. He let his department heads do their job. So why would we want to bring Percy Bland ass back so he can create a criminal enterprise, taking drugs off the street, making money and putting it in his pocket? And then and I got to tell y'all this, Latoya Brown wrote my daughter up for a bomb threat. So I got to talk about this. This was really bad. And I'm thinking that maybe the reason why Latoya done that is because I'm vilifying Percy Bland, because she loved Percy Bland. But here's the thing of it is, people, is that Latoya Brown, a substitute teacher, wrote my daughter up a class 5 infraction and did not show up at the meeting. Now that's some bullshit right there. How is it that you gonna write someone up and guess their excuse is that she's a teacher? Wow. How is it that a 12-year-old at the time, and my daughter's birthday just passed, and today is Tracy's birthday. Happy birthday, Tracy. Yesterday was Area's birthday. Happy birthday, Area. 2 days before that was Octavia's birthday. Happy birthday, Octavia's. And tomorrow is Max, my son Des Moines, Maximilian Hope birthday. So happy birthday to him for tomorrow. But that's just really bad, is that we really focus too much on trying to hurt our children and hinder them. If your accusers, you're talking about sending a person, you're talking about sending a person, a student, a child to alternative school, and the person that said they heard her say something was not there. You got a right to be confronted by your accusers. That's in any court of law. And so I made it known. I called after the meeting was over. I didn't go to the meeting. I had other business. Two bells said, bro, some of you ain't saying, cause I don't really want to put my business out there like that. I didn't go to the meeting, and I should have went, but it's okay because I called them and let them know that if they made an adverse decision about my daughter, that we want the next step would be to go to the school board of trustees. And the next step from there, because how is it somebody gonna say that they heard something? Because we can talk about all this how when Percy was mayor, she was the manager of his office. But when he lost that job, he started managing his own office. So he lost his job and she lost her job. And then she became a substitute teacher. Now, I don't want when you send somebody to the office, then my daughter had to pee. How can you control that? I can't tell you that you can't pee, or I don't know when you got to go. Some people have to go more than others. So any child or any person should be able to go to the bathroom when they have to go. What are you going to let the child emit on themselves and embarrass them? Now we got to I have to do that too, but I had to take her clothes to the school, and no, she didn't do that, but she sat in something that was wet, or either she spilled something on herself. And so she stayed in the office until I went and bought her a uniform and brought it up there. So imagine that child continue going to school and she pee on herself. Latoya, how can you tell her she can't go? And that came out in the meeting. I know. But either way, let's go on and talk about other things. Q, good to see you back. Vacation over. What is it that you want to talk about today?
Well, for one, I just want to say y'all need to get out and vote for Wayman Newell. That's what I gotta say. Cause like I met him like what was it like a couple times before, and like he's a very nice man. Like he's basically like all about the community, and he's like it's like like he's just all about the community, and he's just like he's always attending like the programs that any church have, and everybody loves Wayman Newell. So I feel like y'all should basically vote for him, and who else, vote for Rita Jacks also,
Yeah,
right?
she's running for coroner, and I think she's very qualified for that position. I got to tell you, Q, is that the city council members were very receptive to my presentation. One of the things that I said is what I'm trying to do is, folks, is that what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get the city of Meridian, and they do that. It's part of their duty to provide you with water and sewage. But here's my problem is that I went before them. It's one of the things is that the city of Meridian charged the citizen to do the work on the city right of way. Now, let me explain to you. The city right of way is that I would have to pay the city of Meridian to cut into the main, which is in the middle of 8th Street. I would have to pay them to tap into the water, their water. I would have to pay them to tap into the sewage. It's it's right at almost $1,800 that they want to charge me. Now I wouldn't have a problem with that, folks, if they was gonna give me free water. And it has not always been the case. But one thing I can say that they were very interested in what I had to say, Q, and they invited me to come to the workshop. So and I spoke up. I wasn't selfish. I think it's something. I think they should have sidewalks all over Meridian, and I think that no citizen should pay for work to be performed on the city right away when they're going to pay for the water and the sewage. Now,
Right.
water and sewage is not free, and they're not going to pay to have mine. I got to dig up my ground and put pipes in and put sewage in. So I got to do that, but I got to pay them to do the same thing on their side. I think they should pay for their side. Let me pay for my side, and let me pay for the water that I use and the sewage that I send to them. And that's fair. And I think that the law is on my side. If it got to the point where I have to sue, I think the law would be on my side. And Waste Management was there. They was signing a contract for them, and they get up and speak. But Q, that lady, they make Waste Pro is not doing a good job. And I'll tell you that they leave debris too long on the side of the road. And that's one of the things that George Thomas, he spoke very slow, not so you can understand. He just winding down. And I think it's time for him really to retire. But I think that everything he said was spot on. Only thing I did not like is that when it was time for me to speak, he interrupted and he was out of order and nobody brought him back in order.
Right.
Yeah. He was out of order. Dwayne Davis got out of order, and then what's her name? Tabitha Lindsay got out of order because you start speaking about things that were not on the agenda, and not only that, it was no vote or nothing like that, and so that wastes people time. Ain't nobody want to come in there and hear y'all talk about things. Y'all did a good job, but when you start talking about that, you should talk about that before you get in the meeting. Then come get people on up out of there. Don't keep them in there too long. Q, thank you for those comments.
Mhm.
Folks, I got to tell you this is that we got to learn to pick our fights. Sometimes we don't pick our fights. Sometimes we pick fights with the wrong people. Dustin Markham and I at one time very good friends, and I ain't never done anything to him, but now he seemed to want to hurt me. Dustin, you can't hurt me. Only thing you can do to me is put me in jail for 5 days and charge me a $500 fine. Yeah, man, I've been to prison before. I stayed in prison 2 years. What the fuck is 5 days? Shit, man, that ain't no real, that ain't nothing. Yeah, you can give me a high bond or no bond, but shit, there's other courts, there's other judges, and you will be a judge today, but you ain't gonna be a judge tomorrow. Now, I'm gonna tell you something. Somebody laughed at me today. They laughed at me the other day. Somebody's always laughing at me, but guess who get the last laugh? No, I don't, because I don't laugh at people when things don't go their way. I don't laugh at people when people are hurt and when people are suffering. I don't laugh at people when they don't get their justice. And sometimes it is justice. When people always have something, they want to laugh. They ain't got shit, but they want to laugh. They're not able to do things for themselves, but they want to laugh. But guess what? Something happened today in Judge Early courtroom where a case was dismissed, and I ain't gonna call no name, but I knew it was dismissed. And so I checked with a person and found out it was. Now, what you gonna laugh about now? What are you gonna laugh about now? See, we picked the wrong battles, and then we messed with the wrong people. And then guess what? Karma is a bitch. You do shit, you better watch what you do, because you reap what you gonna sow. Watch how you treat people. Laughing at what? Ain't nobody jealous of nobody. Nobody, if anybody think anyone's afraid of anyone, then you're ludicrous. I try to be careful what I say. I be careful what I do. I'm very careful about when I get to texting and what I say when I text things. I'm very careful because when you start threatening people, even if you start using profanity and cursing and things like that, that can be a form of bullying. So you have to be very careful. So many of you out there on social media putting your business on social media, you're a fool. You're a fool. You something wrong with you. But and I'm gonna tell y'all this. I helped a person. I want to talk about this. His name is Hardy. Hardy was, if I'm not mistaken, the chief of police of MCC. He was on duty, and I got to talk about this. He was on duty, and he's a young man car broke down at the gate, and it was DeCarlo Clark. This Carl Clark. This is my son, nephew, Trey, first cousin, but he's like a nephew to me, and he always called me on. And so the family reached out to me, and I listened. I read the transcript. When I got the transcript, I read it. It took me like 4 days just to see. One thing I noticed is that now, it's certain things that he did he shouldn't have did. But Officer Hardy didn't have probable cause. But anytime they see a black man, they all automatically don't create some probable cause. Now, let me tell y'all this. Officer Hardy said that, now he said that he saw what looked like pills on the seat. And but folks, I got to tell y'all this. And I'm kind of like jump around a little bit. Officer Hardy did not get any pills off DeCarlo Clark. It's named DeCarlo Sanchez Clark. That's Daphne. It's Daphne Rue. Yeah, Clark. She was married to Carl. They're not married now. I think she's remarried, and I don't know about him. But they didn't get any drugs off him too, Bill. They didn't get him out of his car. They didn't get him anywhere around his car. Now, he was afraid because they kept messing with him, so he ran. But even where he ran at, where they got him at, whatever, they still didn't get any pills off him. Another officer, Officer Rush, came up on the scene, and he, Hardy said, he threw something over there. Go and look. So Officer Rush go and look, and he don't see anything there. He looked over in the sewage podcast family, and he said he saw something in the sewage. So he said he get a stick and fish it up out of there. And so he take it, folks. Now you understand you have a chain. Y'all look it up. Google this shit. There's such thing as a chain of custody. You cannot break the chain of custody. If you break the chain of custody, it is invalid. You cannot use that against someone. Officer Rush told no sooner he got it, he's filming this tool belt. You're supposed to take it then and put it in a bag and seal it. Put tape on it, sign your name to it. It did not do that. He took the pills, I guess, or whatever it was that was in the bag, and gave it to Officer Hardy, who's now the chief of police at no longer work at MCC. Never arrested anyone before or charged anyone with drugs before. MCC officer, his car broke down and he's car running hot. He didn't want to mess the heads up. Officer Hardy created this situation. Officer Hardy put the pills in his pocket, tool belt. Wow. Tool belt, I know I can hear you talking. Said, no, he didn't, bro. Tool belt, I really don't know where he put the damn pills. It's still, they're not in custody. You understand what I'm saying? So now they arrested him at first because he said he placed him under arrest without having a reason to place him under arrest. Because he said he wasn't compliant. He wouldn't listen to him. He said, why are you talking to me? What is it about me that you're saying something to me about? Folks, I gotta come on and tell my story. This is sad. So he ended up when Officer Hardy take the pills to Wilburn, East Mississippi Drug Task Force. Wilburn never came to the scene. Officer Hardy take these pills to Lauderdale County. I don't know what he did. Now they open up and look at him, they film this, but they ain't film when he taking the pills. They didn't film it. You gotta film it too better. Every step of the way, you gotta identify, you gotta follow. It's a chain of custody. You gotta follow it every step of the way. You gotta seal it in that bag. You can't unseal it. They took it to Lauderdale County. Wilburn counted the pills, tool belt. He said it was 47. Now let's talk about pills in a bag. He said it was ecstasy. It wasn't ecstasy at all, because when it go to the time, Q just said, Gray, you getting ahead of yourself. Slow down. So I'm gonna slow down. Y'all leave your comments and y'all ask a question. Anything you want us to talk about it. So Wilburn get the pill. Now y'all know Wilburn just as crooked as the crooked road on a crooked street in a crooked city, and he just ain't right. He ain't right at all. Now he take the pills and he counted. Tool belt. He said it was 47 ecstasy pills. He is the one that put those pills or whatever it was. Now you understand, they came out of the ditch. They didn't come out the collar. The guy had to get a stick, he said, and reach around there and pull it out of there. And he said he took it and gave it to Officer Hardy. Officer Hardy said he took it. Now, tool belt, he went and got in his car after he put him in there, and he went to the Lauderdale County Sheriff Department, and he gave him to Wilburn. And Wilburn is the one that put the pills in custody. You understand that these ain't pills that you can charge anybody with, folks, because they broke the chain of custody. But they charged the Colin Clark. They indicted him for one thing, and Mississippi state law allowed for you to change the indictment, and they did that. Folks, this is really sad. This is sad. And you won't understand. I got to take my glasses off, because when I finish talking about this, I'm going to read your comments. And then I'm going to end this show, because it's really sad, folks, when I tell this story. Wilburn said it was 47 ecstasy pills, and he wrote that on the thing. They sent it to the crime lab. When it go to the crime lab tested on the 3 pills. Now, in the state of Mississippi, 3 pills is a misdemeanor. So they sent back and tested 17 more pills. Folks, now the chain of custody been broke again. Now, this is also breaking protocol. How can you test? What happened? How can you test pills twice? And so now they test 17 more pills. You understand, folks, that when you have 20 pills that have drugs in it that are illegal, now that is a felony. And so now you understand that is possession with intent to sell. Now, Wilburn trying to fuck a brother up. So he said it was 47 pills. Understand again, folks, now the next threshold is 40 pills. When you have 40 pills, now that's trafficking. So that's what Wilburn trying to do. So now when Wilburn was questioned in the courtroom, he said he counted every pill. Now, folks, now you know damn well a kibble is not a pill. You know damn well crumbs is not a pill. He said counted everything. The reason why he said everything, they had to come up a reason for the crime lab to say it was on the 37 pill, which brought it out of trafficking down to possession. You understand now? So now this man is facing either trafficking. They offered Carlo 20 years, he wouldn't take it. They offered him 12 years too bad, he wouldn't take that either. So now, folks, here's where it gets sad at. They found him guilty of possession of, I think it was, we're going to just say methylene, methamphetamine, and it has some other kind of drug in it. Folks, and that's sad. They found him possession of that, and Charles Wright gave that man life without parole. Life without parole, people. What kind of person can be so insensitive? Now, I can say this. I don't care how they impeach his record, meaning they didn't bring up his record. He testified for himself. You know, when a man testified for himself, he's innocent. He said those pills wasn't here. Charles Wright gave that man life without parole. I don't believe Charles Wright. He don't like me saying this, but I gotta say it. He gonna hate me because he hated the truth master. Charles, you wouldn't have did a white man like that. You wouldn't, folks. That's sad. I'm about to cry right now. And it is, because it only happens to us, people. You know, like they gave that man life without parole. And so I told him the only thing he can attack is the chain of custody. He only have an 8th grade education, but he told me that out of his own mouth. His mama, how it's like, I watch my daughter, I watch my daughter go in the ground, and that's the worst thing in the world for me. But I miss my daughter. But I would rather my daughter be dead than for a judge, white, black, yellow, green, to give her life without parole. That's a physical death there, people. That's bad. That man will never be free again unless the Supreme Court. Let me tell you about the Court of Appeals. His Falgott, Greg Falgott was his attorney, court appointed. He did a good job. He laid out an excellent fight, but it was a fight that he couldn't win, because you understand they don't care about us. That's why we got to vote. Q was right when she said we got to vote, because they picked the voters. They picked the people that's going to be in the jury from the voters' roll. And so you should be a part of. You got to take part of your life. They gave Carlos life without parole, people. Like 40, he turned 45 years old, and they're waiting to go to trial. He made bond. They let him make bond and everything, and then they threw him away. Folks, how can you go from 12 years to life without parole? You often, come on, Charles, that shit ain't right. It ain't never be right. Y'all got to stop that shit, because they won't take your deal. They won't roll over for you. So I'm gonna teach you a lesson and teach the rest of them niggas that when you come before my damn court, you better take the fucking deal that I offer you, because if you don't, I'm gonna throw your ass away. He ain't gonna do that to his child. He ain't gonna do that to even one of his kind. That's real fucked up. And the Court of Appeals. So Falgott filed a motion to be removed as his attorney because he was court appointed, and he also filed a motion for this appeal court to appoint him attorney. Guess what his appointed attorney said? There were no arguable issues to Belt, meaning that he said there's no issues to argue. They got him dead to right. Folks, I just told y'all the chain of custody was broke. The Supreme Court said, we ain't gonna go for this. And I'm paraphrasing. They sent him a letter saying, draw up a pro se brief and tell us what's wrong. He didn't understand. His family reached out to me to help them understand. And I did. I said, and then folks, the deadline had already passed. The Supreme Court got in touch with him again. They called Marshall County, where he is, and said, hey, we ain't got it. You don't pass your deadline. We will let you argue your case. He said, Uncle, I don't know what to do. I said, I'm gonna write it up for you, and you and send it to you. And I did. I sent his transcript back to him next day, mail to, but it cost me $42 from Meridian, Mississippi to get it to him. And the next day he's supposed to got it, but a day after that he still didn't have it. See how they play with your life. To speak about Marshall County, they was on the staff, and the state of Mississippi took over that prison system because they was paying them money. They just had MTC, I think that's what, just had to pay the state of Mississippi $5.1 million back because they was steady paying them for employees that they did not have, and they lost Marshall County in 2021 because of that. Folks, that's where he is. And guess what, folks? The Supreme Court said, we gonna give you an extension because they know that shit ain't right. Let me tell you something. Karma reached out and bit the fuck out somebody today. Man, karma is a karma God. My daughter told me, she said the universe see everything, and it does. Y'all be playing with God, talking about you believe in God and all that kind of stuff. How can you believe in God and you do another fellow man like that? Y'all say, ain't no such thing as black and white. You cut me, we all gonna bleed. And that is true. You cut us, we gonna bleed red. When we die, we either gonna be burned up, go in the ground, or go in a mausoleum. We all go to the same place. But if you believe in God, how in the hell can you give a man life without parole for shit that wasn't found on him? That's reading about. Damn it, I can't even talk now too bad. I'm kind of incoherent. That's reasonable doubt. It's beyond a reasonable doubt. The chain of custody broke. I don't fall out on my knees too much, but I pray to God that the appeal court send that shit back to Lauderdale County, because what happened to DeCarlo Clark is not justice, folks. This ain't nothing they just now. Charles Wright used to be, he done made probably millions of dollars of black folks defending them in court and things like that. He used to be a district attorney. Charles, I ain't never threw you up under the bus, and you done things for me. You represented me, and you did an excellent job. And you ordered them to give me a preliminary hearing that they did not do. But y'all, you didn't do that right, Charles. And sometimes Andy Griffin said you got to stop looking at the law and go by the heart. But in your case, Charles Wright, man, you got to stop going by your fucking hate and damn it, and see another person, another human. See a mother that you done hurt, a child that you done hurt, a daddy that you done hurt, an uncle that you done hurt, and a child. That shit ain't right. And Dustin and all y'all judges around there with your pants pulled up high and shit like that, gain weight. God ain't pleased with the shit y'all doing. Q, any comments?
Fred just said good evening, and that was it.
Stuff ain't right, man. It just ain't right. So can I have a moment of silence? Not for no motherfucking dead president, but for Carlo and his family. People ain't got no money. That stuff ain't right. It ain't just him. It's a lot of people in jail that things like this happening to them. Man, I don't trust the judges in Lauderdale County. I don't. At one time, me and Vail used to be okay. But when they start rubbing elbows with certain people, they think they're better than other people. But that's not right. Shit, man. Hell, I'm 70 years old, in a damn month or so. Fuck y'all gonna do to me? You don't like what I said. I know you ain't gonna like it, Charles, because I know you didn't like the Truth Master, and some of y'all call him the Truth Blaster. But he told the truth. You don't like nobody to damn tell the truth. You used to kill people like me. Karma, God see everything. How God come back and get you. If he don't get you, he get you through your children. Get you through your health. And I just hope things change for us, for everybody. Y'all have a good evening. Thank you for listening.